The storm had been raging for 3 hours when something massive crashed into Dr. Mason Core's barn. Mason grabbed his medical kit and a flashlight, throwing on his rain-soaked jacket as thunder split the sky. The barn door hung off its hinges, and inside, coiled among shattered wooden beams and hay bales, lay a creature that shouldn't exist, at least not on Earth. It was a dragon, not metaphorically. Not some rare lizard species. An actual dragon, scales shimmering like molten copper even in the dim light, wings spread across 30 feet of barn floor, membranes torn and bleeding. Its serpentine neck curved in obvious pain, and one golden eye tracked Mason's approach with surprising intelligence. "Easy now," Mason murmured, approaching slowly. The dragon's chest heaved with labored breaths, steam rising from its nostrils. He'd been a rural medic for 15 years, treating everything from farmers to their livestock. But this was unprecedented. The creature made a low, rumbling sound, not quite a growl, more like a whimper. Mason could see the problem immediately. A massive gash along its flank, burns across its wings that looked suspiciously like energy weapon damage, and a front leg bent at an unnatural angle. "You've been through hell, haven't you?" Mason set down his kit, noting how the dragon's pupil dilated when it saw his movements. "I'm going to help, just don't eat me, all right?" The dragon's eye seemed almost amused. Mason worked through the night. He cleaned the wounds with antiseptic. The dragon flinched but didn't attack. He stitched the gash using techniques he'd learned on horses and cattle. His hands steady despite the absurdity. The burns he treated with specialized gel, carefully applying it to the delicate wing membranes. For the broken leg, he improvised a splint using barnwood and medical tape. The hardest part was the infection. The dragon was running a dangerous fever, its scales hot to the touch. Mason administered broad-spectrum antibiotics through an IV he rigged into the softer scales near the creature's neck. It was a gamble. He had no idea if human medicine would work on alien biology, but doing nothing meant certain death. "There," Mason said finally, as dawn light filtered through the broken barn. "That's all I can do. The rest is up to you." The dragon's eye closed slowly, then opened again, a deliberate blink that felt like gratitude. Mason retreated to his house, collapsed into bed for 2 hours, then returned with water and raw meat from his freezer. The dragon was awake, alert, and surprisingly its fever had broken. The next day started normally enough. Mason was checking the dragon's wounds. They were healing remarkably fast when he heard the sound. A deep, rhythmic thumping that grew louder by the second. He stepped outside and looked up. His blood ran cold. Descending from the clouds were 12 aircraft unlike anything he'd ever seen. They moved with impossible grace, sleek black vessels that seemed to bend light around them. As they approached, figures began dropping from their holds, paratroopers in powered armor that slowed their descent with controlled bursts of propulsion. They landed in a perfect circle around his property. The lead figure approached, helmet retracting to reveal a face that was distinctly not human. Angular features, skin with a faint silver sheen, eyes that glowed with an inner light. When he spoke, his voice came through a translator. Device at his throat. "I am Commander Rython, Felcor of the Galactic Preservation Corps. We are searching for an Imperial scout class, dragon that crashed in this region during atmospheric combat. Our sensors indicate it is here." Mason's mind raced. "Imperial? Galactic?" He forced himself to stay calm. "There's an injured dragon in my barn. I've been treating it." Rython's eyes widened, an expression that seemed universal. "You treated it? A Tier 7 combat organism? Alone? It was hurt. That's what I do." The commander gestured, and 2 soldiers moved toward the barn. Mason stepped in front of them. "Wait, it's still recovering. If you go in there making it feel threatened, step aside, human. That dragon is property of the Cerelian Empire. It's worth more than your entire settlement." "It's a living creature," Mason said firmly. "And it's my patient." For a long moment, Rython stared at him. Then something changed in his expression. Respect, maybe, or curiosity. "Show me." Mason led him to the barn. The dragon raised its head as they entered, muscles tensing. But when it saw Mason, it relaxed, making that same rumbling sound from before. Rython stopped dead. "By the void. You bonded with it?" "I helped it. There's a difference." The commander approached slowly, scanning the dragon with a handheld device. His expression grew more astonished with each reading. "These wounds, they should have been fatal. The infection alone would have killed it within hours. How did you? He looked at Mason's medical kit, at the improvised IV still attached to the dragon scales. You use primitive medicine? Antibiotics aren't primitive. They work. Not on Sorelian biology, they don't. Their cellular structure is completely... Rython paused, recalibrating his scanner. Except they did work. The infection is gone. The tissue regeneration is accelerating beyond normal parameters. He turned to Mason. What did you do? I treated the patient in front of me with what I had available. Same thing I do for anyone. Rython was silent for a long moment. Then he tapped a communication device on his wrist. Command, this is Velcor. I've located the dragon. It's alive and recovering. Requesting medical transport and diplomatic liaison. He looked at Mason with something like wonder. You realize what you've done? Imperial dragons don't bond. They're weapons, tools. They don't trust. And they certainly don't allow other species to touch them without violence. Yet this one trusts you completely. Maybe it just needed someone to see it as more than a weapon. The commander smiled, a strange expression on his alien features. The Empire will want to meet you, Dr. Kor. Humanity has been on the edge of galactic awareness for decades. Observed, but not contacted. This changes things. I just wanted to help. Exactly, Rython said. That's what makes your species so dangerous. And so valuable. As medical transports descended and alien medics carefully moved the dragon, who kept looking. Back at Mason until the very end, Commander. Rython extended a hand in the human gesture he'd obviously studied. Welcome. To the larger universe, Doctor. Something tells me you're going to shake it to its foundations. Mason shook his hand, looking at the alien ships, the recovered dragon, and the impossible day that had just unfolded. He smiled. I'll need a bigger medical kit.